here's a little dilemma for you. New Year's approaches, but what if you don't like champagne? What if sparkling wine just isn't your thing? Something about the bubbles and the yeastiness is you just don't like it, right? But what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to pop when the ball drops in Times Square and all that stuff? Well, I'm delighted to report I have found a substitute for champagne, and it's called champagne. Grande Champagne Cognac is what we're going to be talking about today. And specifically, we're going to be doing a trio from the Pascal Fillioux house, which is a pretty consistent feature on this channel because they're really available, despite being, an independent cognac producer, family owned. And they can do really good stuff. They're a little bit tricky because some of their offerings are what you want. They're, I don't know, no additives and bottled at higher proof. But some of their stuff is more like what you get with the big negociants. Some of it is still, 40% or, not strong in any case. And let's delicately say sugar it. I still like it more than the big houses, but some of their stuff is not my favorite. But they're out there. Their Pouillade is one of my benchmarks for the category, and so let's taste these. So the champagne thing is a little bit of a pun on my part. It's really, if I can nerd out for a second, it's all the Romans' fault. Is what's going on. So the etymological base for the word champagne is Campania in Latin, which is also a big region in southern Italy, but basically just means something like the countryside. So rolling hills, animals running around, lots of grass everywhere, the first movement of Beethoven's Sixth playing in the background, that kind of imagery. That's at the base of this. And it turns out there's a whole lot of campagnas kind of scattered around France, from the far northeast where they make the bubbly stuff to the far southwest where they make this stuff. Anyways, let us taste these out. What have I got? I have got a La Flèche, a Malternative Belgium pick, cask number 12, aged from 1992 to 2021, 43%. I have got a Through the Grapevine pick, another independent bottler. This is lot 9295, so I think a double vintage from the Whisky Exchange. 46%, so we're just going up by proof here. And amazingly, it's the Americans who got the strongest strength here. This was a release done by the Heavenly Spirits folks. It's a single cask, number 2012. Something just fell out of the bottom there. I think that's a bit of styrofoam. Single. I did get excited when I first saw this because there's a lot number on the back, and sometimes lot numbers used contain vintages. The lot number is 1920. I don't think this is actually a 1920, but I'll just put it out there. 450 new bottles available. 47.5%. We'll get to that momentarily. But first, let's start with this this little Malternative Belgium pick. On the nose. So it's the softer side of Grande Champagne. Grande Champagne as a region, it's just south of the city of Cognac. It's regarded as the best vineyards in the area. That doesn't mean that they always make the best cognac, but the ceiling is very high. Good Grande Champagne is just, it's like the Dorian Yates of cognac. Like it's tons of power and muscle, but you don't lose the detail in the process, and they're really good. Now this is the softer side of that. This is like Dorian 97, when he wasn't that, as fresh as he should have been. Anyways, lots of flowers, field flowers. A little bit of like a Moscato thing, but good Moscato. We're talking like, like a Vietti, one of the good producers. So kind of lightly grapey, floral. There's some... The more I swirl this, the more woody stuff is coming out. Touches of gingerbread. Tea, like Assam tea. Caramel. So yeah, it's the floral kind of desserty side of Grande Champagne. It's, yeah. No, we're getting more dried fruit. A little bit of fig. A little bit of raisin happening. Yeah, I mean, this is, for me, like textbook cognac. You put this in front of me in a blind, I am not missing cognac. I might miss Grande Champagne, but I'm not missing cognac. Like, this is that signature. A little bit of white pepper as well. Touch something herbaceous, like a little bit of, actually a little bit of dillweed happening. Fun on the palate. Sorry, I'm filming this while my wife is mercifully taking the kids out for like 40 minutes, so I have a time limit on this. Presents sweet, but I don't think there's actual sugar on this because the finish is not syrupy. It's quite dry. But there's like a caramelly thing going on here. Hold on. Please don't come back early. Please don't come back early. Okay. Yeah, so dry, present sweet, if that makes sense. Caramel, raisins, dried flowers. Pretty much duplicating the nose, really. Gingerbread, a little fig, a little herbaceousness, oregano, maybe dillweed again, but more oregano on the palate. Most of what's happening is pretty forward in the mouth. I mean, this is marked as like a 92, so it's not young, but it's also not really showing its age in the way it's presenting itself. There's like some dried peach happening as well. It's definitely like on the lighter, softer side of Grande Champagne. Do not come into this expecting a powerhouse. It's not that. But it is pretty yummy. So I'm going to give this a couple drops of water. We'll see how it does. Stop right there. And moving on to through the grapevine. Okay, this is a little bit more intense. It's not older, is it? No, it's... Okay, also 92, 95. Bottle stronger. Yeah, much more woody on this one. Right off the bat, figs and like chopped up furniture from the ancient regime. Overstewed English breakfast tea. Touch of like toasted brown sugar. A little bit of raisin, not nearly as much. A little bit of floral, but not nearly as much. We're still in sight of the Moscato thing, but we're shoving it out the door. Toffee, hint of vanilla in there as well. I could see bourbon fans getting into this into this nose. Dates, prunes. This is another one which is right smack in the center of like what I expect from a cognac. Like, I'm not missing this one in a blind either. Some black pepper. There's a little hint of like a tobacco thing. Hard to nail down. Just maybe it's just some vague, reasonably well-made cigar or something, like a punch. Okay. On the palate. Here we go. Much more grippy, much more powerful. I mean, now we're starting to wander back to Dorian Yates in his prime. Sorry, I'm going to stop talking about Yates. Really filling up my entire palate. Just a huge step up from the previous glass. So far, this could still... I just added water. This could still catch up. Overstewed breakfast tea, a lot of it. A little bit of Darjeeling in there as well. Lots of chopped up old furniture. The Rancio is in play. Hints of mustiness, but this is pretty clean in style. You're not really getting that whole moldy attic thing on this. Touch of stewed peach, raisin, flowers, figs, dates, black pepper. Yeah, this is good. Still presents a little bit sweet, but not nearly as much as the previous glass. This is, it arrives a little bit desserty, a little bit of fruitcakey. Like a spice, or maybe more like a spice cake thing. There's a little bit of cinnamon, maybe some clove happening, and then on the back end, like it's all dryness. Much more my jam. Not to say I dislike the previous glass, but this is more what I was hoping for. Like if you're gonna pop a Champagne Cognac on New Year's, this would be a good pick. And finally, the American pick, the Heavenly Spirits pick, single cask 2012. I've been sitting on this waiting to review it for entirely too long. Let's get into it. Oh, that's fun. Take some grape jelly and then dump some Turkish coffee into it. That's kind of what this smells like. So there, it's like a grape jelly thing. Cardamom, coffee. Oh, a little bit of like so maybe some Turkish delight in there too, because there's a little bit of like a rose water thing happening as well. Quite like perfumed isn't the right word. It smells like, but it smells a little bit like my last trip to Istanbul. Frankly, we're not getting the kefta or anything, but yeah, it's got some of that vibe. A little bit of pistachio, maybe, like nuts. But the cognac is still there. Flowers, dried flowers, figs, prunes. The chopped up furniture thing is in play, not as much as on the previous glass. We're more on like the grape jelly thing with this one. Also some Darjeeling on this as well. On the palate. Yeah, both of these. Well, why am I pointing at the glasses? The bottles. Both of these are very good. Both of these are just primo, excellent representations of what Grande Champagne can do. Lots of power, lots of dryness, but arrives with delicacy, with detail, with Florals, that rosewater thing, cardamom, cinnamon. That grape jelly thing, peach. Erase that. Apricot more so than peach on this. Black pepper. Yeah, I mean the finish just rolls in with like coffee grinds and overstewed tea and old furniture, and it just rips your face out with the dryness. I mean, it's not excessively dry. It's not punishing or anything, because I've had punishing cognacs in the past. But yeah, it's a nice balanced dry finish. Yeah, this is the style you want. It honestly is. If you're going to pop a cognac on New Year's. All right, I'm going to give this a squirt of water, and we shall come back to it. Let's see where these guys are. Now that I've added some water to them, back to the Malternative Belgium pick. Still just much lighter in style. You tell me this is a Fun Bois or something, you hand it to me, and I'll believe it, because it just doesn't have that oomph. Florals, it's kind of coming apart. I don't think I added too much water to this, but it's coming apart a little bit. Just a hair. Peach, Moscato, fruity stuff. On the palate. With water, the nose is a little bit of a step down, but the palate is actually a step up. Now it's acting more like a, what is this, 30-ish year old cognac. Mouth presence is much bigger. It's much more peppery and spicy, and overstewed tea on the sides of my cheeks. It's starting to hit my tonsils a little bit now. That said, most of the finish is that kind of dryness. The florals and the fruit and the stuff I was enjoying isn't really hanging in there as long as those structural things. Yeah, I mean, it's nice. Rives, very desserty. Peach, Moscato, flowers, apricot. Then it kind of goes dry, pepper and cinnamon stick and, wood and ash and that kind of stuff. And that's kind of all that hangs around. Oh, it basically killed this, so I can't be hating it that much, right? What am I going to score this? I don't know. There's more mouthfeel, but the finish, it feels like it has more oomph when you add water. But on analysis, it really doesn't quite. Because a lot of the extra oomph is just like pepper and woody stuff. And it's not totally in balance. But this is good. This is good. If you have a bottle of it, you don't need to throw it out. But it's not one I would go chasing down. So I'm going to call this an 85 minus. It's hard to know what to do with this because it's without water. It feels very light, but maybe that's the appeal of it. I don't know. It's fine. It's nice. Let's move on to the Through the Grapevine. Okay. Not a whole lot of change in the nose. We're maybe bringing out a little bit more pepper and nutmeg. Maybe a little bit more of that kind of dill oregano thing I was getting initially. It's mostly the same as what it was, which is fine with me because it smelled absolutely delicious before. On the palate, this one also, well, it feels like it loses something, a little something with the addition of water. But let me try it one more time. Yeah, this was better neat. Doesn't lose a whole lot. It just feels like the mouth, it starts to converge a little bit with the Malternative Belgium. What I mean is that it starts to get a little bit more desserty up front, and then the mouth presence and the length and the finish and all that stuff is a lot of the drier stuff, the ashy stuff. And I mean, it's still hanging on. It still finishes and behaves better than this by a couple of points, but it's showing symptoms of the same. It's also doing a lot of the same stuff. It's still a darn good cognac though. Peach, pepper, flowers. Actually, there's a little bit more flowers now that I've added water. That's interesting. But I'm going to score this. I feel like I'm ragging on this too much. I can't find an 88. I can't even find an 88. I'm just going to call this an 87 because it's good. We are squarely smack dab in the middle. This is very good, but there's issues here, especially when you add water, that do concern me. So 87 points. But let us see what the all-American offering has to say for itself. Grape jelly has receded a little bit, but what's come in is much more of that kind of figs and furniture and black pepper thing. No, the Turkish coffee and jelly are still there. And there's also there's something about this that feels a little bit fresher than the previous two. I don't know. Like a little bit of like a orange peel, lemon peel kind of thing. It's not, hugely prominent, but it's there. Yeah, again, you put this in front of me, I'm calling cognac. I might even be able to call Grande Champagne. It's very textbook, and I'm into that. On the palate, finding one that kind of nails the finish and the mouth presence thing. Yes, we have arrived. Even better on the palate than it was. Neat. Yeah, this is good. Very dry on the finish, like super duper tannic, overstewed tea, furniture, coffee grind stuff happening. But pay attention, and unlike kind of with these previous two, like the fruit from before, the grapiness, a little bit of the peach skin, a little bit of maybe some lemon peel, and the flowers are hanging in there on the finish a little bit longer. They're they're not winning the battle against the kind of drier, woodier elements, but like they're in the fight. They're like, hey, you're not going to push me out of the ring that easy, pal. Before I had water, like this was closer, and I feel like this is now pulling away considerably. It's just a darn good cognac. So yeah, I mean, if you're gonna pop a Grande Champagne on New Year's Eve, this is the one I would pick. I would give it 88 plus. Am I comfortable with that? Yeah, it's not a strong plus. Like, it's a modest plus, but it's a plus. 88 plus for this U.S. pick from Jean Fillioux and Heavenly Spirits. And yeah, that is the lineup. So we went up by proof, and we're going up by score. 85 minus for the Malternative Belgium pick. Really not bad, just light and keep water away from it. Through the Grapevine pick, also not bad. In fact, I was really enjoying it, but it loses a lot with water. This one, if anything, steps up a hair with water, unless you really like the grape jelly thing, which kind of falls away in favor of other things. 88 plus for this single cask number 212, which is probably not from 1920. Probably. All right, that's the video. Thanks for watching, and I think I'm going to have my humongous top 10 list, which is much more than a top 10 list, in the next few days. Thanks for watching, and cheers.